Hope everybody's doing well. So busy week. Let me try that again. Busy week of conferences. I've met with quite a few of you already. I know a lot of you have appointments coming up this week. If you do not yet have your appointment set up, please make sure you get that on the calendar now. Email me, let me know your availability. Let's do it. We need to get the essay conferences knocked out by the beginning of next week. So next Tuesday the 27th should really be our cutoff, because you need time to make your changes and get your essay in the best shape it can be in before you submit it. So I want to take a moment and go over the rubric and checklist and talk a little bit about block quotes. That's one thing that I've noted missing on some essays, so I wanted to talk about that. I will post another video probably tomorrow, Thursday at the latest, talking more about argument and how to fine-tune arguments, and a couple of other concerns that are coming up. Sentence structure, folks, I haven't forgotten you. It's coming. If you have any other requests or questions, email me those. I've gone through all of the checkpoints, but I know that as you all are drafting, you may be suddenly realizing, oh, I don't feel good about whatever thing. So let me know. Also, remember that the Little Seagull Handbook is organized in such a way that you can go right to readings and examples for any trouble spots you're having. So definitely don't forget that you've got a really good resource there. I'm going to get the rubric up on my screen and share it. I thought I already had it up and I don't. See, I even make you wait in a video. Isn't that mean? All right. Here we go. One thing that I'll mention while I wait for this to pop up, a couple people have asked me, so what do we do after the research paper? After the research paper, you do have a revision and final portfolio. So you're not 100% done once the research paper's in. The better you do on the research paper, though, the easier that final portfolio and revision are going to be. So please keep that in mind. Make this the best paper you can. The better you do on it, the more likelihood you have of getting out of some of the final work. I'll also mention that the work at the very end of the semester, you can submit it early. So for those of you who are trying to finish up and finish out, you are able to do so. So this is the research paper rubric and checklist that you will find in the course site. So you will note a note at the top letting you know that if you don't have it formatted correctly and if your works cited is missing, I'm not going to grade that paper. You will get a 10-point deduction and you have to fix it. You have to get that right on this assignment. If you have concerns about your formatting or your works cited, we need to talk about it. So let's make sure to take care of that well in advance of the due date. So the next thing to note, make sure that you have an appropriate title. Do not call your research paper, okay? I want to make sure that you have a title that reflects what your essay is about. Also, you need a good introduction to draw your reader in. Now, there are lots of ways you can do this. We've mentioned that before in your previous assignments. So think about what will work well for this essay. What is it that will get their attention, pull them in, and carry them to that thesis statement? One pointer that I've given a few people in sessions is thinking about how to lead into your thesis statement. In some cases, it kind of feels pasted into the intro. So think about what you need to do around your thesis statement to make that statement really fit in the introduction. You're going to want a conclusion that ties up and reinforces the paper's message. Leave your reader with something to think about, but don't get so carried away that you feel like you need to write another paper immediately after. The essay should be well organized, and your paragraph should have proper topic sentences, and the paragraph should stay on topic. Okay, I had you all put topic sentences in the sentence outline so that I could see what your main ideas are for the essay. That said, I recognize that some of the sections in your sentence outline may be more than a paragraph, so you may need to go back and make sure you've got good topic sentences everywhere. But make sure too that those paragraphs stay on topic. I'll be talking in another video coming up about revision strategies. One that I've talked to a few students about is reverse outlining. So outlining what you've actually written to see what organization you have held to. Color coding can be a nice strategy. So make sure that you go back and look at what you've actually written and pay attention to the organization and how your ideas connect, and see if you need to move any things around. It's okay to rework the essay, and often encouraged. All right, your argument. Your essay should clearly explain and prove that whatever you're talking about is a problem, or that there is this conflict. You should present and argue your solution or your side well. You should consider and address your opposition, and you should avoid fallacies and focus on provable facts. You need to construct an argument that stands up, okay? You can't just make assertions. You've got to back those assertions. And you have to put your argument together in a way that is logical and that fits. The UNC fallacy overview that I shared with you all is a great resource to look at to make sure that you're not falling into any of the common traps that are out there. And I'll discuss that some more in the argument video coming up. Source use is the biggest chunk of your essay, and this is also a place where students get overwhelmed or panic or just phone it in. So make sure you don't do that. First of all, you need approved, varied, scholarly, and reliable sources. I've talked to a lot of you about needing to go back to the library and get some scholarly sources. I've helped some of you all with that. Make sure you have good, reliable sources. You should not just be using web resources here. You should be going to the library, using Summon, using databases. If you're unsure about any of that, get in touch with a librarian now, or get in touch with me now. You know, I've asked, some of you have raised some concerns, and I've asked you what search terms you're using, how you've been doing these searches, and I haven't heard back from some of you. So if you're struggling, make sure you get in touch with me, or go straight to the experts. Go to those librarians. You do need quotations. You need at least 2 short quotes and 1 long or blocked quotation. A block quotation is a quote that runs 4 or more lines in your text. And there is, of course, a way to format those correctly. So this is the special quote examples document. You'll see it in the resources section. You'll see it in this week's folder. I have shown here a couple things that you'll run into. First of all, a block quote. When you do a block quote, you still anchor it in your text, you still introduce it, you do not use the quotation marks, you indent each line of the quote, and you put the in-text citation after the period. You'll note there are some quotation marks here. That's because there's a quote inside the quoted material, which you'll see below. I also have an example of an indirect citation, which is when you're quoting someone who's quoting someone else. So this article, as noted up here, is by James Pennington. And James Pennington is who is going to be on your works cited page. But you need to give credit to the person who actually said the original. So here you can lay it out in your introductory statement. You can put it in the in-text citation. So I've got it done both ways and shown you how to handle a quote inside a quote, both here in a short quote and in a block quotation. So at least 1 block quotation in your, excuse me, at least 1 block quotation in your essay. If you have questions about that, let me know, or get some help at the Writing and Reading Center. You do need at least 2 paraphrases. You do need to anchor those quotes in your text. Do not leave a quote alone in a sentence. No quote should float. You should have that anchored in your text. Sources should be introduced. Sources should be appropriately cited. Your works cited page should be correct, and every in-text citation should refer to it. Style and grammar. You've already seen my note about MLA formatting guidelines for margins, title, header, indents, font, spacing, first page information. Look back at the template, look back at the instructions. Let me know if you have questions or need help about that. And remember, this is a formal research essay. You're going to want to avoid first and second person where possible. Avoid contractions, informality. You know, don't say kids when you mean children. We want this to feel like something that could be published. When I say text speech, I'm talking about lowercase I and the letter U for you and other kind of shorthand that is inappropriate for academic writing. Avoid repetition, spelling errors, meaningless sentences. I know that this is the first essay where I've really given you a length requirement because I have to, but don't try to stretch your work by repeating yourself. Make sure that you still stay concise. Make sure to use economy of expression. Do a good job here. Avoid run-on sentence fragments, mixed sentence structure. Make sure to use commas, semicolons, apostrophes, and quotation marks correctly. Make sure that your quotes and in-text citations are punctuated correctly, and use sentence and paragraph level transitions. You will get a copy of this back with your graded research paper. This is exactly what I'm going to use to grade your essay. So look at it, check everything off, make sure you've got what you need. So that's the rubric. That's the checklist. I've talked to you about the special quoting examples, so those are the things I wanted to cover here. If you have questions about any of this, let me know. Please go ahead and email me. I'm happy to do follow-up videos. Like I said, I'll be covering argument a little bit. I mean, you've done your reading about it. Most of you have kind of constructed it. I've given feedback in some of the meetings, but I'll talk a little bit about it in the next video. Argument doesn't have to be a negative thing. And I'll do a video on revision, and I'll cover some sentence structure issues. If there are other things that you need help with, please let me know. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week, and if I haven't talked to you about your essay yet, I look forward to our essay conference. You all take care, and good luck as you continue with your essays.